The UFC left London and they are headed to Mexico City. We have 13 action-packed fights that we can make some real money on. One of my favorite ways to make a couple extra bucks while watching my favorite sport is PrizePicks. If you don't know what PrizePicks is, it's daily fantasy. It's not betting. It's not gambling. It is daily fantasy. You come in here, you say more or less than any of the numbers you see on the screen, you put two or more of them together, and you can make a whole bunch of money. It's a ton of fun. It's super easy, and they'll even give you free money to play. If you go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks and use promo code WWP, they'll give you a free $50. The only thing you need to do is use the promo code WWP. Make yourself a little entry, $5, anything you want. $5. You will instantly get 50 instantly that you can do whatever you want with. I'm going to give you a UFC Mexico entry. We have college basketball this weekend. We have a whole bunch of other sports ramping up and ramping down, but you can mix and match sports. You can even play video game lines, which I will never understand. But if you do want to get in on the action and get that free $50, it's wewantpicks.com/prizepicks, promo code WWP. Super easy. Ton of free money. Make that little $5 entry. I'm about to give you an entry right now. If you love it, great. If you don't, that's fine. But let's go ahead and talk about it. UFC Mexico, a ton of really good matchups, a lot of really fun fights. It is at elevation, though. This is about 8,000 feet above sea level, and that always does weird things. Some people get far more exhausted than they normally would, which either means we get a lot of finishes or none. People are either too exhausted to finish their opponents or too exhausted to continue and easily finished. Kind of a crapshoot, so when we're looking at significant strike lines and fight times, it can get tricky, but there are a few fights that I do like here. Right off the rip, if we are looking at significant strikes, I like the more on Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard is a guy that I can't find in this list. Austin Hubbard. Here we go. He's a guy that I know for a fact is going to be durable. I know he's going to move forward. I know he's going to put on some good volume. His line is at 64.5, and that is a number he cruises past in a lot of his fights. If we look at Austin Hubbard's fight history, we're going to see in his last fight 79, 92 before that, 61 before that. That was a fight that ended in the second round. 71 before that. I mean, he cruises past this number very often. I do think this goes to a decision. I think win or lose, he can get past that 64.5 number. Another person whose significant strike line I like quite a bit is Kelvin Gastelum in the featured fight of the evening. He's set at 47.5. If we look at his fight history, he's somebody else who is insanely durable. He has a head made out of a fire hydrant. He's not somebody you're going to get out of there anytime soon. So along the way, whether he's taking a beating or giving one, there's going to be some hands flying. He landed 127 strikes in his last fight. 127 in a 3-round fight. 70 a few fights before that, also 3 rounds. If we look at 5-round fights, we're getting giant numbers like 150. The reality is that Kelvin Gastelum is insanely durable, so this fight likely goes over, and he can get his hands going. 47.5 is not an obscene number. That's not a ridiculous number. I don't imagine Joe Pyfer's going to do a whole lot of wrestling, so I think Kelvin Gastelum can get past this number. If you want to leave your entry right here, done. $20 will win you 60. You will 3 times your money. If we want to go ahead and add another leg, if I take a look at fight minutes, there's a lot of tricky ones here. I do think the Joe Pyfer Kelvin Gastelum fight goes over this 12.5 minute line. I think we end up in a decision, but I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the Kelvin line instead of the 12.5 fight minute line, because there's a world where Kelvin lands a ton of strikes and then somehow it ends earlier than the 15-minute mark. If we take a look at David Martinez and Simon Oliveira, I'm not touching that. My gut says less. Simon sucks. Like, dude's not good at all. So my gut is saying that David Martinez can come in here, smoke that dude coming off a 2-year layoff, but we're going to leave that alone. Edgar Chavez, CJ Vergara, that's another one where I'm thinking the less might make some sense. I'm not going to play it, but the less on that seems to be enticing. CJ Vergara is an interesting blend of durable and not durable. He gets almost finished and then can rebound and stay tough. In his last fight, it took 3 knockdowns to actually finish him, but he did get finished. Edgar Chavez isn't exactly a world beater, but he's long, he's lean, he makes stuff happen, he's durable. I think that under could make some sense there. I do think that Atabak Gutier fight is a trap, so we're not going to touch that one. Jamall Emmers should knock out Gabriel Miranda. Also feels like a trap. So far, we're just sticking to the 2 mores on these significant strike lines. But if we go to fantasy score, what I do love here is the more on our main event. I think Brandon Moreno is just going to put in work. The more on his fantasy line of 110 points, in my opinion, is better than the Moren's significant strike line. While I think he gets past both, the Moren's fantasy line also accounts for a finish. If we take a look at fantasy points, here's your scoring chart. Here's how points are scored in MMA. Here's a whole bunch of descriptions and nonsense. Let's go down to the points chart. A significant strike is almost 1 point, 0.6 points. A takedown is 6 full points. Defending a takedown is 3 points, and that's what I love here. If Steve Erceg comes out with a wrestle-heavy game plan, well, Brandon Moreno's going to defend a couple of those. He'll be scoring along the way. He's also going to get his hands going. He's going to be moving forward. We have 5 rounds to work with. If Brandon Moreno finishes Steve Erceg, we cruise past this number. If Brandon Moreno wins a war, we're still going to cruise past this number. The reality is I think Brandon Moreno has a lot of success in this matchup. I like that 110, and I think he can get past it whether he wins by finish or wins a decision. This is the entry I'm going with. If we do the power play, you 5 times your money. $20 will win you 100. That 5 will win you a lot more. You 5 times your money. Let's go ahead and take a look. I already have this built. And to recap, we got the Austin Hubbard more than 64.5 significant strikes. Brandon Moreno more than his 110.5 fantasy score. And Kelvin Gastelum more than his 47.5 significant strikes. This is my entry. If you like this entry, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Get the free money. Get your free money. WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks. Promo code WWP. Good luck this week. Great fights. Good luck. I'm rooting for all of us.